Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of French auction portal Share. We're going to have a look at an auction by Rennes Auctions, also based in France. And this is a musical instrument auction. This is actually a specific musical instrument auction, and there are 107 items, quite a lot of bowed strings, but a few other things as well. Looks like the buyer's premium is 23% there. This particular auction finishing on the 21st of November. It is the 18th today, so a few days left to go. As per usual, check all the information about kind of selling fees and import, export and all of that stuff, especially if you're outside of France, and make sure you don't get stung by anything. Our usual new process is to not look at every item in the auction and just kind of do a brief overview, but as there are only 107 items, I think it's probably fair to kind of go over things and kind of cover them, unless there's something which is really bad. So yeah, without further ado, let's kind of just crack on and see what's here really. So we've got an Layanti concertina here. As we know from previous auctions, these are always really quite popular. This one not so complex as some of the other ones there, but 50 to 80 euros, that will probably definitely sell. I think only one image on that. This is a German brand, chromatic concertina there, East Germany, 1950, 30 to 40 euros on that. Maybe not quite so popular as the other. Now we have a violin, 1/8 size violin from Mirko, early 20th century. Is saying JTL workshop. Looks like the kind of varnish on the top has been fiddled about with potentially there. 30 to 50 euros. Another 1/8 French violin there, Mirko. They're saying 19th century JTL workshop there. This one looks in slightly better condition than the other one. Then we've got a Chinese violin. They're saying here 20 to 30. I don't think we need to look in that too much. 3/4 violin, Hungarian, 50 to 80 euros. Once again, I don't think we need to look at that too much. There's a full-size German violin, 20th century. It's a pretty standard trade violin with the shield on the back, 80 to 100 euros. They're saying a pretty 3/4 violin, maybe German 20th century there, 80 to 100 euros. Just looks fairly standard. Got a whole load of French violins here, end of the 19th century, and that's your only image that you get. 100 to 150 euros. Might be okay for someone wanting to do some repair practice there. 2 3/4, and some look like they have a bit of issues according to that. Another 3/4 French violin, 20th century JTL, as we get with a lot of these French auctions. 100 to 150 euros. Looks like an interesting crack there on the neck. Another 3/4 Mirko violin there, 20th century, 150 to 200 euros. Full size Mirko violin there, early 20th century, 200 to 250 euros. This is all fairly standard. Another kind of 3/4 violin there, so I don't think we need to look at that again. Small 4-string Rennes Mexican guitar. That's kind of slightly different to see. 30 to 50 euros there. Got quite deep body. Interesting workmanship there. Small 8-string Rennes Mexican guitar, Estrella label. 40 to 50 euros. That's been well played, well loved instrument. They're saying a small 6-string Rennes Mexican guitar, anonymous. 60 to 80 euros. Japanese made Sigma 5-string student banjo there, 80 to 100. German made beginner's guitar, 30 to 50. It's pretty standard. The German made student guitar, Mittenwald, 90 to 110 there. Got 2 transverse flutes there, one in ebony, stamped Isidore lot, and then Grenadier wood one, stamped Quattro, and Ain, Paris, 150 to 200 euros there. Got a buffet crampon B flat clarinet, 350 to 400 euros there. They're taking quite a lot of pictures of that. Looks in fairly good condition. Another buffet crampon clarinet in B flat, 4 to 500 euros on that. A Getsen USA brand B flat trumpet, 300 to 350. E flat alto saxophone by Kuzno, 400 to 500 on that one. Tenor saxophone brand Purette, 300 to 500. A rare Miha B flat bass saxophone from the 1950s from Besson, 350 to 400 euros there. Czech made sax horn by Joseph Lidl, 250 to 300 on that one. Looks like we've got a whole load of bows for 80 to 100 there. Bass bows, it seems. Onto individual bows here. Mid-19th century French violin bow in the style of Malines. Oh, I think they've got the wrong picture there. 3 to 400 euros there. Someone's made a mistake. Miracle violin bow JTL, 3 to 400 there. Set of 2 bows from Miracle, one with bazaar work, the other one not readable, 500 to 600. Another Miracle violin there, 20th century. It's again nothing too exciting, 250 to 300 euros there. Full size violin there, 19th century, probably French made, with a Paris iron mark. It's potentially more interesting than the rest of the items that we've seen, but it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. 300 to 400 euros. This image is quite far away. Another French full-size violin there. Kind of Gaspard de Salo model, 4 to 500. Another Miracle violin, 19th century though, slightly older, a bit more interesting there, 4 to 450, in the style of Charot. Another full-size Miracle violin, early 20th century, 250 to 400. Another full-size Miracle violin, JTL. That will probably be quite popular for someone. It's fairly nice wood, 6 to 700. Another full-size Miracle violin there, JTL. Again, they churned out a lot of these, 5 to 700. Another Miracle violin there, 700 to 800. That's got quite a nice figure to it. So that one might well be popular from the Lebert workshops. Right, a lot of Mexican instruments in this auction. Mexican guitarron, 6 strings there, 300 to 400. Spanish concert guitar there by Felix Manzanero, 1979, 6 to 800. It looks like a decent classical there. French concert guitar there by Antoine Pappalardo, 800 to 1000. Once again, looks like a nice instrument there. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. A rare Theorbode Baroque guitar of recent French manufacture by Carlos Gonzalez in Paris, 1991. Oh, that's quite interesting. 1,000 to 1,500 euros. Yeah, interesting. You don't see many of these Theorbode guitars, kind of old or new actually. They're kind of quite uncommon, so it's quite a nice surprise to see that in the auction. An exceptional Fender Precision bass guitar from the early 1968 there, 2,500 to 3,000. And they've taken a few more pictures of this. Another French violin Miracle, 19th century, Francois Henry Charot label. Definitely a bit better than some of the other stuff. 800 to 1,000 euros there. Another Miracle violin there, in the style of Colin Mazar. They're saying 20th century. It's got fancy back, 600 to 700. I'm sure this will all do well. Another full-size French violin, Marcellus Robin Workshop, 900 to 1100. Looks interesting enough there, and a bow as well. Another French full-size violin. They're saying this is Colin Mazin. It's like a Guarneri type model, 1000 to 1500. Looks fairly interesting. And onwards to page 2. See quite a lot of instruments in this. Full-size violin, 19th century, 1816 style of Derazi. It's got a Panormo label there. 1000 to 1500 there. They're saying an interesting French violin from the 18th century, the old Paris style. It's got a Louis Legato label. 1500 to 2000 there. It's interesting, yeah. It has this kind of flower that we see on a lot of these kind of Paris heads of these 18th century instruments, like Salomon and people like that. Yeah, it's probably quite a nice instrument. 1500 to 2000. Needs a bit of work, a bit of setup. 353 length of back, that's not too bad. So yeah, needs a bit of work, but that could be quite a really nice instrument there. Another French violin, 20th century, Louis Colonel, 2.5 to 3000 there. Another French violin, Miracle. This is Derazi. They're saying 19th century, 10 to 12. Not really giving us the greatest pictures there. Seems to be one of their star lots there. So an interesting anonymous violin from the Dutch school, mid-19th century, in the style of Kuipers. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it is quite an interesting looking violin there. 4,000 to 5,000 euros. Shame about the first pictures not being all that great. It's interesting. Beautiful viola of modern Italian craftsmanship by Mario Cavaseppi, with an original label from 1979 in Rome. 4,000 to 4,500. It's quite a nice looking instrument actually. Another viola here, beginning of the 20th century, anonymous, made of Italian influence, probably from the school, in the style of Scarampella. 5,000 to 5,500 there. More bows. So we've got 2 violin bows. Lebert Workshop in the style of Louis Bazin. Another one probably German, 4,000 to 500. Not looking super exciting there. German made violin bow by Frechner, 6,000 to 800. Popular German bow making family. French violin bow by Louis Joseph Morizon, 1,000 to 1,500 there. Another Miracle bow from Louis Morizon Workshop, 1,500 to 1,800. French bow by Claude Thomasin. It's got the iron mark of Caracé Francais. 5,000 to 6,000 euros there. French violin bow by Victor Fatigue, 4,000 to 4,500 there. Miracle violin bow by Louis Morizon, 1,200 to 1,500. Violin bow by Francois Lot, 700 to 800 there. We've got a Unisound chromatic bandoneon by Alfred Arnold there, 800 to 1,000. Got an A. Mengasini model F5 accordion, 4,000 to 500. Let's have a look at this. It's a very nice and rare concertina from the English brand C. Wheatstone, London. 150 to 200. I think that it would be very popular in a UK auction. Some other instruments here. Interesting, viola da gamba by Robert Surzak, around 2004. 800 to 1,000 there. Interesting looking instrument. Double bass, made in Germany. Start of the 20th century, 1,500 to 2,000. Cello, early 20th century. Anonymous German construction bearing a Helmut Mokel label there, 5,000 to 5,500. Another one of these Miracle violins there, 20th century JTL, 3 to 500. Full-size German violin saying end of the 18th century. Various restorations, 1000 to 1500. You can see it's had a pretty interesting life there. Another French violin, second half of the 19th century, from the Jules Grandjean workshop, 1800 to 2000. Could be a nice instrument for someone. Another Miracle violin there by Amédée de Doin. It's a Guarnerius kind of model or inspiration, 1500 to 2000. Looks like quite a tidy instrument actually, very good condition as they say, so could be a good one. Another French violin, surprisingly, Marc Lebert workshop, 400 to 500. Looks okay. Another French violin, 20th century JTL again. That's the order of the day, I think. Got a Buffet and Crampon Paris B flat clarinet there, 2 to 250. Another Buffet Crampon B flat clarinet there. The Yvette Schaefer model, 250 to 300. A lot of two Maspaca Paris and Louis Lebret Paris B flat clarinets, 50 to 100 there. Miscellaneous instruments there. So flageolet and some transverse flutes, some other bits, 80 to 100. Alto saxophone here. French manufacturer in Bourges, Super Rex, 100 to 150. B flat trumpet by Antoine Courtois, 50 to 80. Cornet by F. Besson, 20 to 30. Nice original box, I think. It's a Camac brand Rosewood fife and a Hohner harmonica, 100 to 120, and some other bits as well. Edison standard real phonograph, interesting. 12-string folk guitar. So it's Korean type imitation, I think, of they're saying it's a Gibson Hummingbird, 100 to 150. Electric cello there, 200 to 250. Another French violin, early 20th century, label by Alexandre Gilbert, 100 to 150. Another French violin, 20th century JTL. Another JTL violin there, it's all fairly similar. Another French JTL, some of them look a bit better than others. Another French violin here, but late 19th century with a Breton. Can be fairly affordable, decent-ish instruments, 150 to 200. Another 1/8 French violin, Miracle early 20th century, JTL workshop. It's fairly decent, 100 to 150. Looks like we've got a few more bows here. Another Miracle JTL bow, 5 to 600. And another Miracle bow Lebert workshop there, 500 to 600. Another Miracle violin bow JTL, 5 to 600. Another Miracle bow Lebert workshop there, 5 to 600. We're on to the final page, can't have many things left. Few instruments, that's a bit more than I expected. 3/4 Miracle violin there, it's got Breton mark. Another Miracle violin there, another JTL, nothing much to see there. Another Miracle, it's Lebert. So again, these are all pretty samey. Another Miracle companion, we don't need to look at that, it's a very low end French. Another 3/4 JTL, we can go past that. Another Miracle JTL label violin there. Let's have a look at this JTL, but I'm sure it's another one that's pretty much the same. This is a bit better. Full-size violin, anonymous German, end of the 18th century in Italian style. Okay, well, 100 to 150, it's not too bad, it's a little bit large. A French full-size violin, 20th century, Lebert workshop, looks quite fairly narrow looking. Last couple of lots here. Recent Czech violin, we don't need to look at that, and an Erard upright piano there from the 60s, flamed and wavy mahogany veneer, 2 to 300. Interesting looking piano there. And there you have it. That is the Rennes auction. Actually some fairly decent stuff in there, but once again quite a lot of, standard as you expect in a French auction, this 20th century kind of GHL, Lebert kind of workshop kind of stuff, but a few interesting items, a few decent looking bowed instruments, so definitely worth checking out. Well, I'll put a link in the description. Have a look, see what you think, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.